It is inspired by my life in my university back in South Korea. My life of university was very different to my expectation. While I was waiting for my bread to get toasted, so this story will cover. Hello everyone, this is Haemin. What? Hello everyone, this is Haemin and welcome to a new video. So as you guys saw my thumbnail, I started writing a story for a graphic novel. This is going to be a new series that you guys will see on my channel from now, as well as a new challenge that I want to do for a long period. I want to create any opportunity that I can work on illustration project to get into a book industry in my position as an illustrator. I think seeking for an illustration representation or a writer and illustrator representation will be the options for me. Earlier this year, I did a bit of a journey for like 5 or 6 months to find an agent who can offer a representation for an illustrator. And middle of this year, I queried to the agent again, but as a writer and illustrator at the time, I did a picture book proposal to them. And now I'm learning writing a story for a graphic novel to enter a new area. I love recording my whole process of journey. I think it'll be a good memory to watch later, like 10 years later or 20 years later. Today it is on the 6th of September 2025 and I started this project on last July. I'm very happy to show you guys my early process of this journey and how I genuinely felt like about this project. It is currently 9:32 p.m. on Tuesday on the 2nd of July 2025. My current writing process is very early stage. I just came up with this idea yesterday. At this point, I'm trying to do brainstorming and break down the complexity of my rough ideas. The theme that I want to make is about slice of daily life, specifically a university setting in South Korea. My life of university was very different to my expectation. I was struggling a lot of things mentally and socially at the time, but at the same time, I always try to be positive and optimistic. So this story will cover facing challenges, chasing a dream, mental health, and the power of the positivity. I went to this university from 2014 to 2018, so hopefully I can make a series of 4 volumes. I'm thinking of spending only a few hours working on this project every night, probably 1 or 2 or 3 hours. I'm super aware that this is gonna be the biggest challenging work. When I have to write a story, I feel super overwhelmed than illustrating. But I know this is something that I want to try and list. Hello everyone, today it is on the 21st of August. Honestly, I don't remember when I started filming this vlog. I feel like I'm pretty sure it was very long time ago. I haven't touched the project for a month and a couple of weeks. I don't remember how many days, how many weeks, or how many months have passed since I touched the last time. A lot of things happened during the period, mentally and physically. A big change happened in my life, which is I got a new job. Now I'm currently working as a 2D artist for a game company. I'm very proud of being a part of this team. I love my job. This is like the best working environment and working culture and people that I've ever experienced, because that's my main priority. I work my freelancing stuff early in the morning or late night or sometimes afternoon, Thursday or Friday, also on weekends. And writing a graphic novel is not my main task that I have to focus. I see it obviously, but this is like something that I want to achieve in the future, so that's why I started illustrating comic or graphic novel pages for a portfolio recently. Hopefully I have some time to go back to this project tomorrow, and I'm very looking forward to develop my characters. Happy Friday, everyone. I'm so sorry that I did not do what I said in the previous clips. It's because I did not have a specific idea yet, so I wanted to develop and write my rough ideas in my journal book instead. Writing in a journal sounds like something that I had never imagined doing because I have described myself as an illustrator for a number of years. I know this is the first step that I have to go through before either I want to work digitally, writing or illustration in my computer. I believe this is like a doodling in the sketchbook if it was only an illustration project. There's already a Word document that has my rough ideas and that I worked several months ago. When I looked at what I wrote for the first time after the time gap, it didn't look very organized well. So referencing the document, I decided to rewrite and develop the brainstorming. Currently, I'm clarifying the theme, the key item, plotting the story over the series, characters that I want to involve, and lastly, the goal the main character wants to achieve, and also some tasks that she or he needs to do to approach the dream. I found it really interestingly, differently joyful to take this kind of creative project because 99% of my life has been spent for taking illustration projects. Earlier today, while I was illustrating a comic page for a portfolio, I researched about how to start writing a manuscript for a graphic novel, and I enjoyed learning writing more than I expected. For 20 years of my life growing up in South Korea, I always found it really tough to write even a short paragraph. But since I experienced learning authentic English in Canada for the first time back in 2016, I got more opportunities to learn writing than the time when I used to live in South Korea. The writing class was my favorite in the language school I went. Now I create content on YouTube, and writing is always there as long as I continue making creative content. And I truly believed that writing a graphic novel will be the most challenging project that I'll experience. Although it is not guaranteed that my story will be published through publishers, we don't have to think about it at this point. I just started this writing project, so let's stay positive as much as possibly we can. Happy Sunday, everyone. The weather in Australia is getting warm. Spring is coming. The sun rises earlier than the past a few weeks. It is so nice to see the blue sky earlier. Earlier this morning, after I fed my kids, I had some time to read a graphic novel called The Deep Dark by Molly Knox Ostertag. I wanted to have a break from looking at social media apps in order to be creative. Also, I really do need to have a break from working consistently. So after spending a few hours reading The Deep Dark, for most of the day during the day, I was in a rush to organize the new exclusive content to Patreon. The theme of the September of the Patreon project is a Persimmon Kingdom. I think it was the most Western inspired illustration that I've ever drawn aside from my current contract job for an Australian game business. I looked at a lot of castles in a Western country to draw a Persimmon Kingdom. I managed to draw line work for the first drawing last night, and somehow I'm also managing to develop the brainstorming. This morning I also took some notes in my phone briefly while I was waiting for my bread to get toasted. It was all sudden, but I had to do it before I forgot the flash of the inspiration. And much later, after a long drawing day, I got back to my writing project. I know it was already very late night. It was like 11 p.m. I wanted to organize some ideas in my computer before the weekend finished, so I read what I wrote 2 days ago in my journal book, also this morning in my phone, and specifically in Samsung Note, and I managed to organize a very small portion of the work. That was my productive or not productive Sunday, depending on the way how I think. Every day my routine is pretty consistent, although the length of my day can be very flexible depending on the time I wake up. But I always go to bed at 11:30 p.m. or 12 p.m. and I like to look at my phone in bed to empty my brain and think nothing. My cats want to annoy me because cats want to get fed. They always have their dry food when I go to bed as a night snack, and I keep getting distracted by them. Cats love this routine and they developed my routine, so I'm gonna stop working at this point and go to get up and feed our cats. They're getting really crazier, so I'm gonna do an announcement to stop them. Do you want food? Yeah? Let's go!
Sunlight dances on the balcony as I wait for thee to come home. I fumble my words, yeah, my mind's a mess when you're in that dress. Glad you're home. Will you stay with me and never leave? You walked into my life and I am glad you came, glad you came. When you're not around I feel broken, glad you came, glad you came. I was lost till I fell. Had me wondering why I feel like home. I hold you close so you're by my side till the end of time. Before we go, will you stay with me, never leave? You walked into my life and I am glad you came. Glad you came. When you're not around I feel broken. Glad you came. Glad you came. Glad you came. Glad you came.
Happy Monday everyone! I'm still developing the brainstorming document. The toughest moment that I've found so far as a beginner writer is that it's been really challenging to describe my imagination, ideas, not in art, not in drawing, but in words, very specifically. But I think the content is getting really better than the first document I wrote. I don't remember if I have mentioned my inspiration of the story in the previous clips. It is inspired by my life in my university back in South Korea. The theme will be slice of life in school. At this point, I'm finally developing characters and I cannot wait to start plotting in a few weeks. Hopefully I'm going back to my work and design characters for the next probably 40 minutes, and after then I should go back to my portfolio project. My portfolio project is not ending, it keeps going and continues forever until I find an agent or until I feel comfortable and stable. Incredibly, thank you so much for clicking on my channel and watching my first and official writing blog. The fact that I want to involve writing from the beginning of my 30s is really interesting. Already, I want to make it really different to 20s. I've never imagined doing this when I was a teenager who was super obsessed with art. I think I should stop talking here, otherwise this video will never end. So yeah, I really hope you guys have a wonderful, lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!